One of the most common misconception in artificial intelligence these days is that it is cheap. All we need to do is to start using AI tools and we can get rid of human employees because AI is so cheap, so performant, it will do everything for pennies. That is not true. Yes, AI is quite powerful. It can replace humans in a lot of use cases, especially customer service, but AI is not cheap, and that is the purpose of this video is to do some number crunching on estimated values and then show that using AI, especially the RAG applications, is not cheap and it's not easy. The reason why I have picked up a RAG is that RAG based applications are the most commonly used ones at the moment in various companies of every size. If you don't know what RAG is retrieval augmented generation, and it is a method for enhancing the accuracy and reliability of generative AI models with facts fetched from external sources. In other words, it fills a gap in how LLM works. LLMs are neural networks typically measured by how many parameters they contain. An LLM's parameter essentially represents the general patterns of how humans use words to form sentences. This parameterized knowledge is not fresh. These large language models are trained on a huge corpus of data back in time. For example, GPT 3.5 model is from the last year. So it doesn't know what is going on today, and it certainly doesn't have information about your own custom proprietary data in your company. So if you want to uh, dive deeper into your current and more specific topic according to your company, then you would need to use a RAG. So what RAG does is, as you can see on your screen, client asks a question from your framework RAG application. That RAG application just goes into something called as vector database, pulls out your company's data according to user's query, then just augment the user's query with that data and then ask the question from LLM. So what happens is that you take your own company's data, which could be in text format, PDF format, or whatever, then you convert that into vector embeddings or numerical representation, and then you store it in some sort of database or vector database. Vector is simply a numerical representation, and in the vector database all the similar data which is semantically similar gets stored nearby, so that when a user query comes in, your RAG pulls out the most similar data to user's query, augments it with the user query, send it to LLM, and then that is how LLM gets more context around your own custom data. I have various videos where I go into way more detail about RAG and how it works. So this is what RAG is. Now, once you know what RAG is, one let's see how can we calculate the cost and how can we go about it. So mostly at a very high level, other than development cost of building the RAG application, and then the way you are having your infrastructure and all those auxiliary costs, there are three main costs associated with RAG. First, there is a vector database cost. Now you can have your own vector database locally installed, but for that you would have to have hardware, you would have to have proper technical resource to install it and manage it throughout its life. But and you can have also the hosted option, such as we have VV8, we have Pinecone, we have a lot of others. So you can see that, for example, if you are using Pinecone and you have 50 million record count, 100k user queries per month, which is normal for a business or an enterprise, then the bill is around 222 US dollar per month. Now before we go further, let me make a disclaimer. These are estimated values. Of course, you can adjust these pointer sliders as per your own use case, and then accordingly the price will go up or down. And these prices change like very frequently, and they also vary from vendor to vendor. You don't have to go with Pinecone or any other model or service I'm showing in this video. This is just an example. You can go with your own use case. You can go and compare these all these offerings and then go from there. Okay, so coming back to our RAG thing, the vector database cost is, of course, it's just one time month by month, and then you have embedding cost. In order to convert your own data into embeddings or vectors or numerical representation, you would need an embedding model. There are a lot of them are there. So roughly it is quite cheap. So 10 to $20 and you can do a lot of conversion to it. You can do it online, you can do it on your own system. It doesn't take long. So, and then the major, I should say, the beast is this inference cost, where not only you are charged for the input from the users, but also the output you give to the users. It all based on tokens, which are word or combination of words. Now, once you have that, so these are the three high level costs, as I said, other than development costs. Now, let's try to calculate this. So as I said earlier, let's suppose that vector database cost per month is 222. Embedding cost is just $10. Now let's calculate the inference cost. So this is some of the hypothetical use case from a typical enterprise or business, that let's say there are 50 input tokens from a user query. So which could be your customer asking from about your product, or just engaging in any sort of interaction with your business. It could be an existing customer, it could be a potential lead, depends. So let's suppose that there are user has created a query in the chat box, or it has just sent you this query to your LLM. Then you went into your vector database and then pulled out the context relevant to that user query. So, and it is around 500 because these are big documents. So let's say it has 500 tokens, user has 50 tokens. So in combination, there are 550 tokens per request from one user per query. And then as a result, let's suppose when you give the result back to the user, there were 500 output tokens given back to him. So total token usage per user per month is input token plus output token. So it is just over 1000. So 1050 tokens per user per month per query. Let's say user asks 1000 queries in a month, which is quite liberal, but let's go with it. So because it will make the calculations bit easier, because it reaches around million, and as GPT-4, GPT 3.5, they work on 1 million tokens. So just to make the point easier, that is why I picked up these values. So per user per month, we have just over million tokens. Now, how much would this cost? If you go to, uh, let's say, GPT-4 website, and I will show you after this, then as how you can check out those values, then you will see that GPT-4 is quite expensive. It costs around $90 per month, and GPT 3.5, which is bit old, just $2 per month. Now, the reason why GPT-4 is so expensive, there are various reasons. Because, but if I want to say it in one word, quality. Quality of GPT-4 is simply awesome, and that is why, despite of all the hoopla around other models, despite of all the thousands other models, GPT-4 is still the number one model in the world, and that is why it is so expensive, because the quality is supreme. And it's been over a year now that GPT-4 is maintaining that position, and there is a reason, and that is why the cost. Now, if you just calculate the cost for, let's say, 100 customers, so you just calculate that vector database cost, embedding cost, and then, because let's say GPT-4, so $90 per user for 100 users, it will be 9,000. So for 100 customers, you would have to pay just over 9,000 US dollar per month. For 1,000 customer, you would have to pay just over $90,000 per month. Now, if you are in some other country, like I am in Australia, so if I convert this US dollar to Australian dollar, it will be like 150,000 US dollar per month for my 1,000 customers. Now you have to calculate per month, and if you scale it up to per year, it could be like real over $1 million uh, for all these users. So you have to now do the cost analysis and comparison, that if you hire a human, would that be cheaper or would this be cheaper? And as I said, these costs doesn't include your developer cost, maintaining of the application cost, and lot of other stuff. I mean, if you are using Devin or any other tool to create those applications, that is another thing, but that is costly too. Now, I'm not saying that this comparison will hold forever. Of course, as the time will pass, the cost will come down. All of these things will be, totally change over their heads. But if you talk about now, you can see that AI is not cheap at all. You have to have keep that in mind. We made the same mistakes with cloud like 10 years ago. Everyone thought that okay, if you migrate to cloud, not only it will solve all of our problems, it will be so cheap, we'll get rid of all these sysadmins, database administrators, software engineers, because everything will be serverless. We won't have to manage anything, we'll just throw everything in the cloud, and voila, didn't happen. And the cost just is through the roof, and we have a separate field now which is called as FinOps, just to manage the cloud cost. Same thing I am seeing happening with AI. Lot of hype around it. Companies are blindly throwing money on it, uh, which is not good. I think AI is great. Every company should try to get AI embedded in their systems, integrated, but beware of the cost and don't make it an afterthought. Include it now so that you won't get a bill shock. Also, just a shameless plug, if you're looking for a AI consultancy in order to cost manage, feel free to reach out. Happy to do the analysis and advisory for you there. And I believe a lot of things can be saved there and a lot of pain can be saved there for the future. That's it, guys. Before I go, let me quickly show you OpenAI's website for that cost analysis. So this is OpenAI's website, and that is where I got the values. Like for, let's say, GPT-4, you pay $30 per 1 million token and $60 per million token for output, and that is why I made it $90 for input plus output. And then if you look at GPT 3.5 Turbo, it is just combining $2. The difference is really, really huge. But of course, there is a difference between quality. So that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and it was some of use. If you have any questions, thoughts, please share them in the comments. If you like the content, do me a favor and please subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, then please share it among your network as it helps a lot. Thanks for watching.